like half the podcasts I do, people like walk in front of the camera and trade shows.
I believe
They're just like, people are oblivious. They might step through a fire in front of you. They're like, oh, that's hot. I wonder what that was. It's bananas. Like, people are just like, no self-awareness at all. They're watching now they do this.
They're spaced out. Like even when we do control zones, like I've had hazmat calls and I've talked to hazmat techs up in Seattle. They've had like sulfuric acid rivers going down the hill.
They're just like,
it's just people in their flip-flops, like, and they just walk on over, like, you almost lost your foot. What are you thinking? Like, seriously? People are focused on.
Aren't you a hazmat? Can you just dust it off real quick and help me? So this is an experiment. We want to watch your foot fall off for science. It'll be good. It'll make me feel good that you've got, like, from now on, you'll be aware. You'll be like one of my people I call on in class. Like, what's that feel like? It's bad. You should pay attention to your surroundings. All right. So just to get this going, you should wave the camera for a minute. So this is where I cut.
No, right.
Nice. Yeah. We're like, because I mean, beforehand, when I'm like, messing with people, like, we might say some stuff that we're like, we better start this, and I should know where to cut, and take all this pre-stuff.
Pre-stuff sounds pretty fun. I like the raw and unedited, though.
All right, we're leaving it
right. Let's leave it unedited.
All right, so introduce yourselves. Where are you from and what do you do?
My name's Adam from Firehouse Training from Toronto, Canada.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother. The hospitality's been great.
Well, we're from Oklahoma. We're the same. We just discussed Letterkenny before we got started.
Absolutely. Letterkenny. Canadian classic. Absolutely.
Got the Letterkenny connection right there with Oklahoma and Canada. I love it. My name's Chris. I'm with Hazmat and Rescue out of Washington State, but I do have Oklahoma connections. Go Pokes. Go Pokes.
Like, you know what? We're very accepting of all kinds.
So I got my master's degree at OSHA. I got family down here in Weatherford in Oklahoma City. My dad was born and raised out in Okeen, but
Did you say Okeen?
Okeen, the gal pal. I miss it.
I'm from Okeen, Oklahoma. Rattlesnake.
Good old Blaine County.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, well,
I forgot to bring my belt buckle.
A lot of people don't understand growing up when you come from Okeen, Oklahoma, and you go hunt rattlesnakes all the time as kids, and you show them off to tourists. That not every town does that. It's a weird feeling because you talk about it like it's a normal thing, and people like staring at you like, you did what? Like, what do you mean you don't do this?
This isn't normal? Are you serious?
I mean, one of my friends saw me one time, like, walk over. We're at a campsite. I'm barefoot. I come out my tent. Like, what's everybody freaking out about? And you go over and you step on the snake's head with your bare foot, pull it down, pick up the snake, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" I don't. Am I doing something weird to you?
That's normal.
I'm kind of talking about rattlesnakes. I'm more worried about the twisters out here. I was warned by my Uber driver to keep an eye out for tornadoes. So
we have them. Here's the deal. Don't worry. You will have a snowstorm and a twister and the highest day on record every single day.
Jeez.
You got it all.
4 seasons up in Canada, right there, eh?
You're welcome.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
So we're here at the Hazmat Conference, Oklahoma. And we're fortunate to start collaborating with each other and work on not only fire rescue, first responder problems, but also oil and gas.
Yeah.
And you two have done a good job about bringing in safety, HSE, fire, and working together. Hold on just a second.
Is it recording?
Well, yeah. But I saw, I don't know.
Get stuff.
I'm editing that out, maybe. But we, as oil and gas industry and first responder industry in Oklahoma, we're very well aware, and now in the Permian Basin, Haynesville, South Texas, Canada has a vast oil and gas industry. We all need to really work hard to work together. And two things. One, our first responders lack resources and training. And oil and gas is going to continually be pressed upon with regulations, whether it be for safety or environment, or insurance companies pushing, their parameters around what we do. But if we work really hard and collaborate well, we will continue to see the results of us being able to continue oil and gas production, cost effective, efficient, and safe.
Well, I think that's one of the big things with the oil and gas industry nationwide or internationally, worldwide right now. The oil and gas industry has a target on their backs right now with a lot of the green pushes.
Yes.
And that's one of the conversations that we've been talking about here at this conference is one of those extinguishing methods you guys have for lithium-ion batteries, some of that green push. But still, no matter what, there will not be enough energy because a battery is storing energy. You still need to produce the energy,
Yes.
and that energy isn't always going to come from windmills and solar panels. It's got to come from the petrochemical facilities. We still need crude oil. We still need natural gas. We still need those petrochemicals. And that push of that media, if you have a bad event at a refinery, at a pipeline, any type of disaster, any type of train derailment, any type of event that does not go well, it's in the news. And it's in the news big
For a
time.
long time.
For a very
It's
long
a
time.
news cycle.
Yeah, so insurance is a huge thing, but the PR game in the oil and gas industry is a huge factor as well. We've seen that happen with nuclear over the last 40 years. Like we just opened our first nuclear power plant in the United States, I think last year down in Georgia. That was the first one in over 40 years because the nuclear industry, they did not stand their game. They said, you know what, we're not going to talk about this. We're just going to we're going to continue to do what we do. And then 3 Mile Island happens just after the movie, the China Syndrome, and then Chernobyl. And then we end up having that issue with people pushing away. We have to have good positive PR, and with that, it has to happen. We have to have safety. We have to have proper protections and prevention to be prepared for that event because it will come, and the proper response will make it look good, as opposed to the way that the narrative is trying to be pushed right now.
In Canada, you all have probably a lot more regulation than we do in the United States on oil and gas, but you're also more affected by the affordable, reliable, abundant resource that oil and gas provides for you to even be able to live so far north. I mean,
Very true. Very true.
that abundance and reliability you have to be able to count on where you live.
Well, we certainly see that in the reflection of the safety and the environmental impacts, and also the costs for energy that we're currently paying up in Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a conversation for another day when it comes to taxes and the other things that are almost a burden to the oil and gas industry right now. Going on what you said there regarding the indication of the safety, the environmental impact. These are things that do unfortunately make the news when there is an event. And that's why the timing couldn't be more perfect. Having this conversation today with Chris presenting some information yesterday on lithium-ion battery fires, and then us co-presenting on flammable and combustible liquids this afternoon, and my full-day course that we ran yesterday specific to industrial fire and spill response to oil and gas industry, manufacturing, production facilities. There's a big gap in training. I think there's a big gap in safety and ways that I think we can all work together to try to allow staff who work in these industries a better perspective on safety and response.
I know from our own industry, we're hands. We like getting into things that can help our communities in oil and gas. So I do realize that luckily for first responders teams, we have a high percentage that are in volunteer fire departments.
Very true. Yeah.
But as we discussed earlier, 80% of our firefighters here in Oklahoma are untrained. And then you start getting granular, like, well, how many of those have ever even seen oil and gas pad? Is it a drilling rig? Is it a frac fleet? Is it a production facility? Whatever that is, we have to get out there and give our first responders as many resources as we possibly can to say thank you, heroes, for what you do. When you show up, you're protecting this is critical infrastructure for the United States.
Without a doubt. And that's like, you sit there and take a look at the opportunities. Like, if you look down south at Teeks, they have a playground of all the most amazing things, disaster city. They have so much flammable and combustible liquid firefighting pads for their responders to see. And I know there's a ton of Oklahoma responders that go down there. I've had the opportunity to go down there to Teeks. We don't have as much up here in Oklahoma with that. But getting that word out and getting that training for that, it does come on down to, yes, in-person training without a doubt. And then we do have to start flexing the online training. I'm not saying that this will replace it. This cannot replace that fitness.
Something
have
else
started training.
Consistency.
Your classes that you guys, yesterday I was cooking out for 400.
I saw that. Thank you for that, by the way. Those sausages were pretty tasty.
Everybody's ever seen this? They've seen my brats and hot links and bada bing, and I love doing it. But I didn't get to come to your class, and I'd love to. But if it's a resource online, then I can go.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Hey, fantastic.
And, oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
Ed.
well, with Chris and myself, we've had the opportunity now to present our content both in person and online in a virtual format. And we know that there is that gap in training from either a first responder to staff within these oil and gas plants for dealing with situations like this. The other things that we're seeing right now is that the hazmat operations and technicians program, or even HAZWOPER, can only present so much information. I believe I brought this up this afternoon in our flammable liquids class. You don't have to be an operations or technician to be able to take action on the different hazards and risks that you'll see in the oil and gas industry. We call that product-specific training, and that's something that Chris offers through his company at Hazmat Rescue, and we offer at Firehouse Training. So at least there's an awareness of familiarization of ways to mitigate these hazards and risks, other than having to take a full week or 2 weeks of hazmat operations or technician.
Yeah, and that helps out with those bite-sized chunks, right?
Yes.
It's like Adam ends up doing. We do a lot of Zoom training. He's got a lot of classes that comes on out every single month up there in Ontario, but it's on Zoom, so it's worldwide.
Right.
And on my webpage there at hazmatandrescue.com, yeah, I have some paid stuff, but also I have a lot of free stuff. Within the resources tab, we have incident command resources. There's a ton of lithium-ion battery resources, and I just came out the 4-hour presentation I did yesterday in the room next to us. I've recorded that for a class that I did down in San Marcos, Texas, and I put it down into chunks between 3 minutes and 10 minutes long. It's on my LMS. It's a free class. And we also, just because it's free, we decided to throw it on YouTube as well. So you can watch any of those videos to get caught up on whatever you think is specific on those specific issues. Back to the
What's the YouTube channel?
The YouTube channel is Hazmat and Rescue.
Hazmat and Rescue.
Yep, all that information is at hazmatandrescue.com, but the YouTube channel is Hazmat and Rescue. We got, right now I got 18 of those videos, so it's about 2.5 hours. You can do it in little bite-sized chunks, and of course, a lot of Adam's classes I'm on the West Coast, so they're early in the evening over there in Canada. Over here in Central and Eastern time zone, they're a little bit later in the evening. So if you have a 9-to-5 job, you have the opportunity to jump on in and listen to us talking. It's a discussion. It's not Adam lecturing people. It's a
I'm not
discussion.
taking his lectures. That's fine.
If you can understand,
If you have an accent, I'm probably going to listen to you. Like,
So, Chris, I didn't tell you this.
that guy might be smart.
I looked at the comments in the last session we did, and one of the comments said the guy from Canada spoke pretty funny. So I highlighted that. I put that on my social media. Hey, so definitely a little bit of a culture shock down here, but I'm sure we'll adjust.
I don't know. If people have an accent, I pay attention to him. Like, he's got to be smarter than me.
Love it. Love it.
What do you think moving forward? We can grow like this conference. I love it.
Yeah.
Last year we did it, and we had maybe 150 people sign up. We doubled that this year.
Wow.
Next year, this is going to continue to grow. I'm doing everything I can to reach out to anybody in oil and gas safety culture.
Love it.
The leaders, the HSE guys, safety. Like, you need to be here too.
It's
and
not just
offer
hazmat
what you know.
techs.
The
It's
key,
not- this is not
to
just
building a conference and that relationship is to get away from just the lights and sirens, the responders, the industry, right? The hazmat techs and others that work within these different workplaces that all come together to learn and to share that perspective. We had a fantastic class yesterday, my industrial fire and spills response class. We had emergency managers, we had safety specialists, we had law enforcement, and we had first responders and firefighters. And the group discussion that came from that, from understanding the risk assessments for a facility to the safety side, or what I like to call tactical safety, to putting the wet stuff on the red stuff. We had talked about all that in the course, and it's probably one of my most well-rounded courses because of that collaboration of industries.
And that's one of those big things. Like, this conference, hands down, is doing it right. Like, it's a free conference, and it's free food, and it's in 15 minutes, it's a free happy hour.
Exactly, that's right.
Everything's provided, and it's not just for firefighters.
No, well, that's the reason I love how many sponsors we got for this,
incredible.
and it's going to the more you realize, like, hey, it's vital that these happen. So if you can sponsor these type of events, and that's why I want to reach out to oil and gas, like, hey, if you can't attend or send your own people, at least donate as much as you can to the first responders to learn and be together and collaborate on how to come and save our butts in our industry.
And the collaboration is key, just like Adam talked about. In the classes where we end up having hazmat technicians, firefighters, law enforcement, emergency management, industry, all of us kept talking at the table. Adam and I think like firefighters because that's what we are. We have that background. When I shifted over to the prevention world, I now think like that, but I have that background of firefighter technician. When I talk to people, and this is like shifting over really quickly to the lithium-ion battery stuff, we have a panel up in Washington State. It consists of fire, law enforcement, towing industry, waste management. It's all these different voices, and we can take a look at this in the petrochemical industry as well. With us at that table in that group, there's people that bring up issues that we're seeing with lithium-ion batteries that I would never have thought about. Because I don't look at when the car gets towed away, I don't think about it. They think about it and they have to focus and worry about it. So then we look at identifying solutions for this. I mean, the same thing happens when you get industry reps here in these classes, the discussion happens and it's very, very beneficial.
I don't want to see in the news anymore anything to do with energy that provides energy, and whatever type that is. Like I'm pro energy, and I think about energy addition. You know, everybody talks about energy transition, all that like that. So energy addition's fine with me. That's a great nomenclature. But regardless of the resource, we bring power to provide flourishing.
Definitely.
You all are front line when bad things happen, and it is going to happen. In every possibility, there will be disasters. You will be there to be the heroes. What can we do to make sure you have the resources and the training? You know?
Well, it is that support, and understand we are an energy rich nation.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. When you sit there and take a look at it, there's 3 billion people in the world that have less energy than my refrigerator needs to run on an annual basis.
Yeah.
Very, very, because of that, because of that wealth that we have risk, we have hazard. As a hazmat technician, when we sit there and take a look at it, Adam and I talk about stuff like that. Like hazmat, it's when it comes out of the container that it's bad. But the hazardous materials in a container are good. Energy inside its container is good, but there will always be a potential risk and there's an issue. The big thing we need to get on out there right now, yes, is funding and support. Yes, the brats were delicious. That's absolutely great. This conference is amazing and support for that. But it is that collaboration. And that's one of the big things I talk about in my lithium-ion battery class. And this has nothing to do with batteries. It's about energy. We have not, as an entity, fire, law enforcement, emergency management, industry, all of us as a group, we have not really talked too much to each other.
No.
You guys stay in your lane, I stay in my lane.
In our own
We need
industry,
to change
drilling doesn't talk to completion, who doesn't talk to production.
Yeah.
So
I need to know where these energy risks are.
Right.
And in pre-planning, if I can pre-plan it, I can get prepared for it. So let me take a look at an emergency management side. When I do a hazard risk vulnerability assessment, I identify where my tier 2s are. Where all buildings that have hazmat, all my oil tanks, where those are all at, I identify where those at because by federal government, that's there. My rail entities, they give me a commodity flow report. They'll tell me how much hazmat's going down the rail. Outstanding. What about the highway? The highway is where the highest amount of hazmat events happen. I do not get a commodity flow study for highway or how many semi-trucks are going up and down the road with that and what my hazmat is. In my transitional warehouse facilities like Amazon, I don't know where that's at. I don't know where my energy storage system, where batteries are, where solar panels are. We need to all talk together, and that's where the communication comes on down so then we can have a map where we can see where the pipelines are, the tanks are, where the energy hazards are, where the batteries, solar panels, what all the energy is. So then we can plan with my local jurisdiction in my district, what is my risk within this area? And do I need this really expensive, shiny tool, or do I even have that risk within my jurisdiction? Because a vendor out here, great people, they're going to sell you a $67,000 tool. Do you need it? Maybe, maybe not. You need to know what your risk is within your jurisdiction.
I think that makes it different with our training and the collaboration with Hazmat Rescue and Firehouse Training up in Canada, where we take these pre-plans, or Chris and I will hash these ideas back and forth, but the way that we teach, like a CO2 class you just ran, or the classes that we ran taking out flammable liquids, our students left with tactics and strategies that they can use in a safe way, whether you're an emergency management or a first-line firefighter, hazmat technician, or operations level, to move processes forward to get the job done. And I find that, in my opinion, a lot of training out there misses the mark because they focus on hazards, the risks, and they don't want to put their butts out there, whether it's liability or maybe just the lack of experience or perspective on the different options you have to handle an event. Can you use a smoothbore nozzle with a high volume hose to attack a flammable liquid fire? Can you use air monitoring as tactical safety, right? Can you use foam, right? When you look at the different risks that are available, the environment, your air monitor readings, and everything that you see from a hazmat, safety or incident command checklist, you can take all that information, all that pieces of the puzzle together and move a tactic forward. If it doesn't work, try another way. If that doesn't work, try another way.
I'm not going to knock any other instructors, but the one thing that always drives me nuts is when we end up, when I'm sitting in a class, they talk about all of the problems of an issue.
Yes.
And then they stop short. It's like, well, what should we do? Well, let your SOGs dictate. I do not want my standard operating guidelines. Yes, my standard operating guidelines are meant to dictate, and I'll adjust them based off of what you train me. But I need you to give me some guidance on what you see as tactical objectives. And there's a lot of instructors, and I'm not going to say I'm going to fault them. There's a lot of legalese that they don't want to step too far. But that is one of the biggest frustrations is when you sit in a 2 or 4 hour class.
Ask for
and you don't
forgiveness
know the answers.
later. That's what he's saying.
Now, at the end of the day, we do want our students to be safe. But the one thing I've realized, especially over the years, whether it's less than 20 years I've had now in the spill response industry, or working in production facilities, manufacturing, and other opportunities prior to becoming a hazmat technician, firefighter, is we know enough now that we can make tactical decisions that are safe based on our education, experience, and perspectives that we've gained to move a process forward to get the job done. And that's the key, is getting the job done in a safe way for the community and for us as first responders.
Well, I want every HSC person in oil and gas to take their courses.
Appreciate that, bro.
If you're in safety, if you're in hazards, environmental, reach out to them and offer, your ear to listen to them, but also your expertise to give them more. And let's start collaborating more. It's critical. I mean, we are at a point in our nation now where there's so much, winds of change against what we do.
Yeah.
But it's not going away regardless of the rhetoric.
That's true.
We have hundreds of years where we will be in real need of oil and gas. The charts, all the hockey sticks just continue to climb. Oil and gas will just continue to climb in need.
Well, as long as he keeps driving his Challenger and I got my Mustangs, then I think we're going to need lots of oil and gas too.
I mean, huge diesel trucks. Huge diesel,
Diesel trucks.
Too, yeah.
Not kidding.
I am putting out a fire from a Tesla. Thank you, Tesla, for donating my little battery in March. Cute.
That'd be good for we're excited to come out. Hopefully the weather cooperates. Come out and check out that burn. That's tomorrow down in the burn pack here in
I'll be
Oklahoma.
cooking the bada bing and some chicken fajitas for you tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Yesterday, I challenged everybody to listen to this, okay? Gobble this gushing glizzy down your gullet guy.
I don't think I can say that.
I put all those words together like a rap song yesterday.
Oh gosh.
I don't think I can say that again.
All right,
My
so
voice just went on.
how do people get a hold of you so we can help? You're on LinkedIn?
Yeah, definitely. So check
Okay,
us out.
website.
So
What's your
Firehouse
website?
Training website, www.firehousetraining.ca. That's .ca.
Not CN, right? CN Canada. There you go.
Canada, yeah.
Yep. And hazmatrescue.com. Like I said, we got a ton of resources there, and that's on. I've got that. We're on X, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on TikToks.
The TikTok, of course, check us both down on TikTok.
I do hazmat minutes.
I'm
once a day.
definitely showing you guys on TikTok.
Absolutely.
Go check it out. And it's like I said, there's a ton of free training and there's a ton of free resources.
Thank you guys for what you do. God bless you both.
I appreciate it. Thanks, brother, for having us out.
Hook them up. Reach out. We'll see you next time. God bless you.
Thanks again.
Bye.